This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
Yes, recapping the game against UVA and reviewing the film as a staff, we were very proud of our young men, how they were able to play for 4 quarters. I really thought we did a much better job of responding in the second half. We was able to limit them when it comes to yardage and was able to stay around 4.5 yards per play. And so the way our kids responded in the second half, I was very pleased. And then, one of the things that we were stressing to our young men was the ability to eliminate the explosive plays. We met that goal this past week, which is 1 per 20 plays, and so we was able to accomplish that. And so, we got a lot to build on as we get ready to prepare for Auburn. We know this is an exciting opportunity for our guys. As we told them, and Coach Gill always says, it's not about the logo. It's about us playing our best football. And so Sunday we had a good practice and excited about the opportunity to go against the Auburn Tigers.
I meant to ask Coach Gill this, but you might be able to elaborate on it as well. Are you guys going to do anything to kind of replicate or try to replicate the atmosphere that you're going to see down there?
Well, we utilize music, and that has helped us, I think, on both sides of the ball to be able to just be locked in when it comes to communication. The noise in practice allows our young men to focus on how they got to communicate with each other. It may be hand signals or just making sure they talk loud enough to echo it all across the field. And so we've already been doing that since we've been here. So I don't see where we will be out of sorts based on the noise level.
Coach mentioned a little bit of a softer coverage, I guess, on the outside with the corners, giving a little bit more space, and then that probably leading to keeping the ball in front a little bit more. Is there good and bad that comes with that? And obviously there was a lot of good this past week, but just kind of your assessment on making that call.
Well, like I said, I think the biggest thing is allowing the corners to see a little bit more of the whole play. When you're in man coverage, you're really kind of locked in and not able to see maybe the concepts, so to say, or what the progression may be of the quarterback. Our goal this past week was to just keep the ball in front of our corners just to play everything from deep to short. And so they responded really well. And so as we move forward, the game plan is always changing, but we're going to make sure we do what we can that we feel will give us the best opportunity to be successful.
With Chappelle Morris listed out for the second straight week, how's the safety rotation going to look after Elijah and Isaac played every snap last week against UVA?
Well, the goal is to continue to get some young men ready. Ben Alexander is a young man right now that we're working in that rotation. And then, we're having some discussions about some potential other young men to be that fourth guy.
When you look at Visual Wilson, big interception Saturday, I think he's tied for the lead with 3 on the team. What are some things that he's brought to this defense as a JUCO transfer and being able to make a big impact immediately?
I think the biggest thing is he's brought the maturity level. And how he goes about his business. He loves to practice. He loves to learn. He's always asking questions about the game plan. I love being around him at the hotel because, like I said, he's locked in and he's there to make sure he can perform the best he can perform. On the field, the thing that he brings is he allows us to trust him with part of the best receivers. He does a great job of studying the technique of the opponents. He's always locked in, and he's been a very good surprise for us thus far.
Coach, this got to be an exciting time for your players. You play Virginia one week, then you got Auburn the next week. Do you feel that extra excitement in practice as these guys get ready to take on an SEC team this week?
Well, Sunday, like I said, was definitely a lot of excitement. This is the opportunity where we tell our young men this is the standard. This is what Liberty is building towards to be a elite football program. And so, we're telling our young men you need to make sure you put forth your best effort. A lot of these young men believe they should have been recruited by these types of programs. And so we tell them Saturday is your opportunity to show programs that, hey, I could play at the highest level and compete consistently. So, yes, I think a lot of our young men are excited about the opportunity.
During last week's press conference, you talked about some of the adjustments you needed to make from the defensive end. Over now, looking back at the last 2 weeks with UMass and then UVA, how would you say you guys have advanced defensively, and what are some of those takeaways that you're going to look into bringing for the game against Auburn?
Yeah, we definitely knew we needed to make improvement from the UMass to UVA game. And so in watching the UVA game, I definitely felt like in the back end, our young men responded much better. We was able to stay on top of routes. We made a few adjustments that was very evident in Saturday's game. And then when you look at the run game, I definitely felt like we was able to do a little bit better job of fitting the gaps properly and making sure that we were able to respond like we needed to.
Auburn has 3 good running backs, and Stidham is a good runner. What's going to be the key to containing that running game and making sure you don't overload the box so that way it doesn't give Stidham the opportunity to throw it to one of his 4 receivers?
Well, it's going to be a situation where we're going to have to utilize multiple calls. We're going to have to do a great job, especially in the front 7, of making sure that we sink and bend, make sure we fit our creases properly. In the back end, just like we did this past week, we got to do a good job of keeping our height, but keeping the ball in front, and then responding to what we see in the right manner.
Ryan Davis, their leading receiver, but he's probably the smallest one of the bunch. How do they use him, and what does he bring to the table?
Well, they do a good job of utilizing him in multiple positions. Even at running back, they've utilized him in motion jet sweeps. He has elite speed. I think the biggest thing for us is we're going to do a good job of forcing the ball to go back inside and not allow it to get on the perimeter. And so we're going to do some things and look at some things that I'm real excited about that'll give us an opportunity to make sure we keep the ball inside.
And kind of open up on Stidham here a little bit, as his reputation is, his resume is what it is down there. He's done a lot of good things, but offensively they have struggled, from what they're used to. What can you tell me about Stidham and what you've seen from him on tape this year as opposed to years past?
Well, I would say, this year he's made great decisions. He throws the ball extremely well. Pressure does not overwhelm him. They're asking him to do a lot in comparison to previous years that I've seen film as far as a lot more multiple formations. He's doing a lot with the receivers that are coming in motion. So for him, it seems like he's making a little bit more of an adjustment this year in what they're doing in times past. In previous past, it was more up-tempo, let's hit it and get it. This year, it's been more, hey, control. And so I think that's why you probably haven't seen the numbers like you've seen in the past. But he still has been very efficient. He's done a good job, like I said, of executing the offense.
This is a period of transitioning for you and your program and your athletes. Win or lose, what does it mean to be able to compete at this level and heading into Auburn University?
Well, I think, like I said, the thing that I know we as a program are enjoying is the vision. We're having an opportunity to live out a vision that was stated by the founder, Dr. Jerry Falwell Sr. And so, each game that you go out, it's almost like a humbling moment. And we talk about the coaching staff all the time because you just see all the alum that come back, or even when you go visit a program or visit a team, and you got people that live in that area that are Liberty alum that went here back in the 80s and the 70s, and just to see the excitement that they have to say, hey, I was a part of something that was said, and I'm seeing it with my natural eyes. Like I said, as a staff, as a program, we know that this is a special moment, a special time in Liberty's football history.
Robert, last week in the red zone, Auburn used a little trickeration against Georgia, running back pass, touchdown. How many other plays like that have you seen on tape from them this year, what you've seen so far?
They run quite a few what we call gadget plays, and it's always something different, in comparison to maybe other teams that we've seen. You kind of can get a beat on, okay, when they're in this personnel or when they're at this point of the field, they're going to expect a gadget. They do it in all situations. They do it anywhere on the field. They're going to do it in big personnel. They'll do it in spread personnel. And so, you can expect 2 to 3 forms of a gadget a game. It's just going to be about executing. They utilize everybody, offensive linemen. They utilize quarterbacks, running backs. So it's really going to boil down to being in the right call at the right time that will allow our guys to be able to respond to what they see.
Even though last week was a 3-score loss, but take away the kickoff return, the turnover on downs, short fields that Virginia had, do the kids realize that they did improve last week defensively? Because it seemed like that to us in the booth and the press box that they did. And do they sense that, and how do they build off that?
At that moment, a loss is a loss, so it hurts. It's going to hurt. When you come back and watch the film on Sunday and to see how they realize how we responded, it definitely was a little bit more encouragement. But at the end of the day, you want to win a football game. And so to say that, hey, you played that much better, that don't really make anyone feel good at that time. What you got to do is you got to show them, hey, the technique was poor these few games. Look how the technique improved. And as the technique improved, we had better results. So what we try to do is continue to teach and then hope that the light bulb continues to come on. And that's what we saw on Sunday, as you saw some young men start to realize, yeah, coach, I stayed square. By me staying square, I was able to make that tackle. And so that's what we got to continue to build on no matter what the opponent is. And that's why we always say it's not about the logo. It's about us improving each week. As we continue to do that, we'll get better and better and better. We just can't continue. We got to make sure we stay consistent and not go back and forth. And that's the challenge as coaches we got to get across this week.
Going into an environment like this, you want the kids to enjoy it and you want them to, relish the moment. But how do you balance that with also not letting it get too big for you? You know what I mean?
Well, to me, enjoying the moment is going in there focused and getting ready to win a game. That's how I look at it. I'm not really going to tell the young men to go in there and be in awe and this is SEC football. I'm going in there, hey, we're going to execute to go win a football game. That's my mindset. That's always been my mindset. I think as you look back, you may say, hey, that was a great opportunity. But when we step on that field at 3:01 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're going there to go win a football game. We're not going there to just say, oh, man, we made it against Auburn and we're glad we're here. No. We're going to be locked and loaded to do our very best to represent this university in a great way to go win a football game. Now, we all know that we're facing a very good opponent. But I think you can see I get energized because I'm going there and I'm trying to prepare our defensive unit. Our coaches are trying to prepare our defensive team to play our best football. And like Coach Gill said, we got so much room to continue to improve. Let's go play our best football. And you do that, and then we'll let the chips fall where they may. But we're going in there trying to win a football game against a very good football team.